A little earlier, I spoke to the Science and Technology Secretary, Peter Kyle. There's news this morning that there are plans for a Chinese embassy close to the city, and some people think this could be a security risk. What is the government's view on this?
Well, this is in the planning process. These issues will be taken care of assiduously in the planning process. But just to reassure people, we deal with embassies and these sorts of infrastructure issues all the time. We are very experienced of it, and we are very aware of these sorts of issues constantly, not just when new buildings are being done, but all the time. So people need to rest assured that we have these issues.
There's a slightly tricky element to this because the people who are cheesed off about it, apparently, are the Americans, and this warning comes from the White House.
Yeah, but these are the issues that we talk about as two countries all the time. And, you know, they are right.
You want to talk to us, the Americans about where the Chinese can put their embassy in London?
Trevor, we're in the Five Eyes Agreement. America and Britain share intelligence iteratively. We are one of the few countries in the world that share intelligence, and we treat each other's intelligence.
Yes, this is you're sharing planning regimes as well.
Well, what you're talking about is a security issue, and if people raise security issues, even though it relates to planning, then I'm sure we will have a fulsome response for them. But look, the key thing is, these are issues which are quite routinised in the way that we deal with the security of our country. This is not new. It's going through planning. These are issues that will be dealt with in that process.
OK, we'll keep an eye on it. Now, look, we could have a traditional bit of this interview where I ask you what's in the spending review and you give me a knowing smile and tell me you don't know, but you do know, but you won't tell me. So let's...
Trevor, you're so cynical. You've not been doing this for the longest of your colleagues here at Sky.
I respect you and I think I don't want to waste your time. So let's get rid of that bit and let's cut straight to the chase. Will Rachel Reeves explain who is now going to get the winter fuel allowance and who is not?
These issues are going to be dealt with in the run-up to the autumn, where these decisions are going to be taken and announced. But this is a spending review that's going to set the overall spending constraints for government for the next period, for the next 3 years. So you're sort of talking about two separate issues at the moment.
So we won't get an answer on winter fuel this week?
I think what you're going to see is the overall spending constraints and allowances for each government department, and then each department's then going to start talking about how it's going to allocate those spending. I'm
taking it as a no. So let's get on to the actual substance of it. First and most important thing: is she going to restate her commitment to stick to the fiscal rules she set out before the elections?
She has set out the fiscal rules. She is sticking to the fiscal rules, and they are the bedrock that's returned the stability to our economy.
And there's going to be no
for which we are now building. Now, you will see in this spending review that we are investing the most we have ever spent per pupil in our school system. We are investing the most we've ever done in R&D for our overall country.
Okay.
Now, what does this mean, Trevor? It means that we are investing in the future. Now, no company, no organisation has ever turned itself around from failure, and our country was failing without innovating and without investing into the future. And that's what we're doing, and that's what Rachel Reeves understands. So, yes, we have raised tax in the autumn. We are now allocating that appropriately so that we can get into those high-growth areas, and we can invest in the skills and the young people so that when they come into the new economy, they're able to take advantage of those great jobs that we will be creating through the innovation of today.
When you say that we're failing, do you mean we're still failing?
I said we were failing. When we came into office, we inherited an economy that was drowning, public services that were on their knees, and a country and a society that was deflated and didn't believe in itself. This is the inheritance that we had, and that's what we're starting to turn around. She fixed the foundations in the autumn budget, and now you're starting to see how we're investing into the future.
One of the ways she fixed the foundations was to take, as you said, 40 billion extra in tax. We're hearing that you're going to get, I see you smiling this morning, you're going to get over 80 billion quid to put into research. That's more than 40 billion. Where is that money coming from?
That's over the course of this spending review period.
OK, 3 years. You're going to get... that's 27, 28 billion just for you.
And we are building on the money that was allocated in the last budget. In the last budget, it wasn't really reported very much. We had an overall increase in our R&D budget by 8.5%. Rachel did raise money. She invested it into our public services, but also invested it into the parts of the economy that we're going to start turning around and getting growth into it. This is the difference between... This is the difference in approach, and it's fundamental, Trevor, between what the Tories did and what we are doing.
Well, I want to ask about whether it is that different, because the Tories used to come in here and tell me that they're going to put extra money into such and such, and then we discover it was the same money they told me about a month ago. Is this extra 80 billion completely new money, or is it the money we heard about in the autumn?
No, this will be the total spend on R&D as our nation, as we move forward as our nation.
So it's not extra money.
No, so hang on a sec. Rachel raised money in taxes in the autumn. We are now allocating it per department, but the key thing is we are going to be investing record amounts of money into the innovations of the future. Just bear in mind how Apple turned itself around. When Steve Jobs came back to Apple, they were 90 days from insolvency. That's the kind of situation that we had when we came into office. Now, Steve Jobs turned it around by inventing the iMac, moving to a series of products like the iPod. Now, we are starting to invest in the vaccine processes of the future, some of the high-tech solutions that are going to be high growth. We're investing in our space sector, all these really highly innovative sectors.
I understand the list.
For which they will create jobs in the future and the wealth and the innovation, the new jobs and businesses into the future.
I understand the list. And, you know, Apple went and raised a load of money borrowed a load of money from Wall Street, which you are not doing, you say. But the specific point I want to come back to is you're getting a lot of money to put into research, as you say, record numbers. The boss of the Wellcome Foundation says this morning that the barriers, such as high visa costs for scientists and the university funding crisis, means that even that amount of money won't make the advances needed to secure the UK's reputation for science. And Wellcome is the biggest funder of science. How do you respond to that? It's not enough.
Well, I respond to it by talking the language of science, and that is evidence. We have had an increase in the number of people coming to our country on these highly skilled visas, the sort of kind of jobs and visas that I think he is talking about, not a decrease. We are a global destination for talent. We are increasingly a global destination for talent. And when you saw the immigration white paper released by the Home Secretary recently, there were very clear pathways for people to come to our country if they are investing in our country, if they have highly desirable skills, and if they will contribute to the kinds of innovations which are going to put Britain at the forefront going forward.
So we can expect to see more visas issued for scientists, for highly skilled people.
Yes.
There's going to be more immigration at that level.
There will be more highly skilled people and people coming to invest. The bar is higher than it has ever been, but we do need people to come here and invest, to come and teach our universities, to be part of the collaborations that are going to create new businesses that we'll upscale. Why is it that Britain has never had a £1 trillion, $1 trillion company?
Well, I've sat through many seminars and there are many reasons. I don't think we've got time to discuss that.
You need the people who are going to set these companies up. Now, many of them are going to be British people here already, but you do need to have global talent there to drive it. That's what we're trying to appeal for.
By the way, it means more immigration, doesn't it?
We're talking
including more immigration of students.
We're talking
and postgrads.
We're talking about people coming here who are sometimes Nobel laureates, who have already set up billion-dollar companies. We're attracting these kinds of people to come and spend their money here, to spend their innovation here, to invest in Britain. That's what we need to see.
I'm only rushing you because we've got to talk a little bit about politics, and I want to talk to you about artificial intelligence. Labour scraped a win in the Hamilton by-election.
Trevor, don't underplay it.
Hundreds of votes rather than thousands. Your candidate tried to dismiss reform as a racist fan club for Nigel Farage. Did it disturb you that more than 1 in 4 voters opted to vote for someone that you regard as a racist?
Firstly, a win is a win. Secondly, the swing towards Labour was considerable. Thirdly, we actually won against the odds, and I don't think you'd have put money on Labour winning based on what you were hearing in advance of the election.
Nobody would have put money on reform coming from 0 to 26%.
And in terms of reform, we do not underestimate reform. We believe that reform is actually our opposition right now. Because the Tories have imploded so comprehensively, they have filled the vacuum left by the Tory party. So we are not
so
dismissing them.
They're now the official opposition?
We are treating them as if they are the opposition, because, in fact, they are the ones who are actually winning in parts of the country the Tories used to win, but they're now left the pitch altogether. So we are engaging with reform. We understand that they are, a powerful force in politics, but also we understand that they are a party that cannot shoulder the weight of power, because just look already that they're falling apart. We understand already that they are mimicking the policies of Liz Truss that blew up our economy. They are an irresponsible party, but we are taking them on as the official opposition right now.
Can I just ask you quickly a couple of questions about AI? Regulation of AI, it's a big issue between the House of Lords and the government. I've written some books. I've written millions of words. Is it your intention to allow big tech to use my work to train its machines without my permission and not paying me?
No, it is the opposite. Now, what we have at the moment is a standoff with the House of Lords because they're trying to attach one particular amendment on one particular part of copyright to a bill that doesn't have anything to do with copyright. I've proposed that we take this issue on head-on. I want to bring in a comprehensive set of measures that will look at copyright in the digital age, that will give the digital protections to great authors like yourself in the digital age that, unfortunately, simply will not stand if we leave copyright laws in the analogue age. I need to modernise it properly, not just do it piecemeal on the pieces of legislation that aren't fit for it.
One last point about AI, which is from my colleague Stan Coates, who discovered this week by accident that ChatGPT had published a transcript of a programme that he made. The thing is that the transcript was published before he'd recorded the programme, and it was based on previous broadcasts. Isn't that an incredibly dangerous thing?
It's a really worrying thing. It is, and that's why people need to understand that AI is not flawless and that AI does lie, because it's based on human characteristics. Now, it is getting more precise as we move forward, it's getting more powerful as we move forward, but as with every single technology that comes into society, you can only safely use it and wisely use it by understanding how it works. And that's why, people shouldn't think that AI is just like a search engine. Actually, it works very, very differently, and the results it comes up with need to be taken into consideration.
So there's going to be some new regulation at some point on that issue?
We are going to legislate for AI going forward, and we're going to balance it with the same legislation that we'll bring in to modernise the copyright legislation as well. But I've tasked every single one of our regulators to see how AI is going to impact the sectors that they regulate and to adjust accordingly. So we are taking a lot of measures on AI.
Last very quick thing. Last night, an anatomical word, which I can't use on Sunday morning, was chanted about the Prime Minister. It had 4 letters in it. Isn't it really early in your term of office for that level of unpopularity?
I'm not a football follower. I only watch when the Brighton and Hove Albion are playing, and I don't think the fans of Brighton would use such words against about Keir. It's football. It's football chanting. It's part of the. Is it not part of the spirit of the game?
Well, the England manager says he thinks it's pretty unacceptable, and even my team, which is pretty rough, I don't think we do that.
Right. Okay. Well,
the point is, isn't this a disturbing signal for the government?
Actually, we have a Prime Minister that has taken really tough decisions when he came in. People have to understand that when you win an election, things don't go back to zero. You start off where the other lot left off. And we've had to do some really difficult things because they didn't take the difficult decisions in office. It's forced us to take those difficult decisions in office. But now, when you see the results of the spending review and how we're prioritising children, children's future, and the future of the economy so that kids get into an economy which actually is thriving, and we're doing the trade deals, so when kids are creating their jobs of the future, they have export opportunities. You see the plan for change that we are landing, how it will deliver. People will start to see that next. So next time we have an England game, I'm sure they'll be chanting some really nice things about us too.
Peter Kyle, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thanks.